From humble beginnings to unwavering ambition, in every corner of the world, there's not a soul who hasn't heard of Starbucks, the global coffeehouse giant that has become synonymous with modern-day culture, offering more than just a cup of coffee, but a feeling of comfort and connection. The green mermaid logo and the iconic frappuccinos have infiltrated the everyday lives of millions. But behind this sprawling empire is a story that is often forgotten. A tale of resilience, determination, and dreams. A story of Howard Schultz, the visionary who transformed a small, struggling coffee company into a billion-dollar brand. Howard was born into a world of hardship. Raised in the working-class neighborhoods of Brooklyn, New York, his childhood was nothing like the sleek corporate offices and luxurious mansions that many associate with the wealthy figures of today's business world. His family lived in a cramped one-bedroom apartment, a far cry from the polished boardrooms he would later dominate. Howard's father, a truck driver and Army veteran, worked long hours in jobs that barely paid the bills. Yet, despite their constant struggles, it was the values his parents instilled in him that would shape his journey. As a young boy, Howard watched his father tirelessly labor through life, often breaking his back to make ends meet. The tipping point came when Howard was just 7 years old. His father, delivering diapers one chilly winter day, slipped on the ice and broke his leg. It wasn't just the injury that devastated the family. It was the ripple effect of what followed. Without medical insurance and with no savings to fall back on, Howard's family was left in a financial freefall. The very image of his father lying on the couch, physically incapacitated and emotionally broken, haunted him. It was this experience that ignited something deep inside young Howard, a fierce desire to rise above the limitations of his environment. The sight of his father's defeat crystallized for Howard the harsh realities of life's unpredictability, but it also planted the seed of something greater. The belief that he could change his destiny, and that no matter how bleak the situation seemed, there was always the possibility for something better. This became his driving force, the fire that fueled his pursuit of success. But dreams are not always easily achieved. Howard, like many dreamers, faced a turbulent road ahead. His journey was far from the smooth ride he hoped for. For much of his early life, he struggled with both the financial constraints that limited his opportunities and the pressure to conform to societal expectations. Still, his resolve only grew stronger. As a teenager, Howard found an escape in football. He was a talented athlete, and his skills on the field earned him a scholarship to attend college. But even as he received the opportunity to further his education, the journey was not without its sacrifices. To pay for college, Howard worked countless odd jobs and took on student loans. On more than one occasion, when money ran dry, he resorted to selling his own blood just to keep food on the table. These were the moments that built his character. They weren't glamorous, but they were pivotal. They taught him the importance of persistence, of never giving up, no matter how dire things seemed. Howard was learning, through experience, that success was rarely handed to anyone. It was earned, piece by piece, through determination and the willingness to push through adversity. It wasn't just about surviving. It was about dreaming big and believing in the possibility of something extraordinary. As Howard moved through life, he began to realize that in order to escape the cycle of poverty, he needed to think bigger. He needed to move beyond the traditional idea of success that his upbringing had taught him, and start thinking about a future where he was in control. He needed to envision a life that others might dismiss as impossible. This realization came during his early career after he graduated from college. Howard worked at a ski lodge and as a salesman, but all the while, he kept one eye on his ultimate goal. The desire to work for Starbucks, a small regional coffee company that sold only coffee beans at the time, took root in his mind. At the age of 29, after a year of persistence, Howard finally convinced the owners of Starbucks to give him a job. It wasn't a huge leap. He started as a director of retail operations, a modest position, but it was a start. Little did the owners of Starbucks know, they had just hired someone who would eventually redefine their business and the entire coffee industry. Howard's vision was larger than just selling coffee beans. He wanted to create a place where people could connect over more than just a cup of coffee, where they could find a sense of community and belonging. But first, he needed to convince the founders of Starbucks that his ideas had merit. During a business trip to Italy, Howard's world would change forever. As he walked into a small Italian coffee shop, he was struck by the profound difference between this establishment and the American coffee shops he knew. The Italians didn't just serve coffee, they served an experience. The barista knew each customer by name. There was a warmth in the air, an unmistakable feeling of connection. Howard knew then that this was the kind of coffee culture he wanted to bring to America. But when he pitched this idea to the Starbucks owners, they rejected him. They didn't share his vision. They believed that Starbucks should remain a place for selling just coffee beans. But Howard's determination wasn't so easily shaken. He didn't see this rejection as a dead end. Instead, he viewed it as an opportunity. He left Starbucks and set out on his own to build a coffee house that would replicate the experience he had in Italy. He founded Il Giornale, his own coffee company, despite having no money to fund the endeavor. In the process, he faced immense challenges, including the overwhelming reality of rejection. Over the course of a year, Howard pitched his idea to 242 investors. Only 25 believed in him. That meant 217 people rejected his vision. Rejection after rejection. Howard found himself standing on the edge of failure. But what separates dreamers from the truly successful is their ability to keep moving forward when the world tells them to quit. Howard didn't stop. He kept knocking on doors, pitching his ideas, refining his vision. Eventually, enough investors saw the potential in his dream, and they agreed to back him. With their help, Howard opened his first coffee shop, bringing his Italian-inspired coffee culture to life. But even when things started to look up, the road ahead remained full of obstacles. Starbucks, the very company that had rejected him, was on the verge of bankruptcy. Howard saw this as his chance, a chance to not just save the company, but to rebuild it into something bigger than anyone could have imagined. He bought the company, rebranded it as Starbucks, and began expanding it across the United States. And the rest, as they say, is history. Today, Starbucks is a global phenomenon, with over 30,000 stores around the world and a market value exceeding $100 billion. Howard Schultz, the boy who once struggled to make ends meet, is now a billionaire. But more than wealth, Howard's story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the strength of believing in your dreams, and the ability to rise above even the most difficult circumstances. His message to the world is simple yet profound. In life, you can blame a lot of people, and you can wallow in self-pity, or you can pick yourself up and say, listen, I have to be responsible for myself. Howard's story is a living proof that success isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about making the decision to take control of your future, no matter how uncertain or difficult it may seem. Howard Schultz dreamed big, and he showed us all that, with hard work and unwavering belief in yourself, anything is possible. He reminds us that success is not a matter of luck. It's about vision, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of what others might call impossible. His story is one that should inspire anyone who has ever faced doubt, rejection, or hardship. It teaches us that no matter where you start, your dreams are worth fighting for. The reinvention of an industry and a legacy of leadership. As Howard Schultz's dreams began to materialize, Starbucks was no longer just a coffee company. It was the embodiment of his vision. A vision that was not solely focused on profits or product. It was about creating a culture, an experience, and a sense of belonging. This is where Howard's true genius began to shine. In the business world, success is often measured by numbers, revenue, market share, and profitability. But Howard understood that to build something enduring, something that resonated with people, the essence of the company had to be more than just a financial equation. It had to be a place where customers weren't just consumers, but active participants in something larger than themselves. The turning point for Starbucks, under Howard's leadership, came when he began to redefine the coffee shop experience. While other coffee chains were still selling drinks as a commodity, Howard saw an opportunity to create an environment where people could escape their daily lives. He wasn't just selling coffee, he was selling a moment. A quiet space where people could gather, reflect, or even have an informal meeting. The idea of Starbucks as a third place between home and work became a core concept, and it resonated deeply with people around the world. Suddenly, Starbucks wasn't just a coffee shop, it was a lifestyle. But turning this vision into a reality required more than just innovative thinking. It demanded radical leadership and a level of determination that few leaders are capable of. Howard didn't simply push for better marketing or fancier drinks. He wanted his employees, his partners, as he called them, to feel valued and empowered. This was the start of a company culture that would become iconic in its own right. Starbucks was not just about serving coffee. It was about creating a community of people who genuinely cared about each other. This focus on people would prove to be one of the defining factors of Starbucks' success. Howard's commitment to his employees was evident from the very beginning. In 1987, as Starbucks was beginning its rapid expansion, he implemented what would become one of the company's most groundbreaking policies, providing healthcare benefits to all employees, even part-time workers. This was unheard of in an industry that had long operated on a model of low-wage, high-turnover labor. Howard's decision to offer benefits was based on his own experiences growing up in a working-class family, where he witnessed the struggles of workers who lacked basic support. He believed that by taking care of his employees, he was building a foundation for success, one that would not only benefit the company, but also elevate the entire workforce. The results were immediate. Starbucks employees, who were now viewed as partners in the company's success, began to embody the values of care and respect that Howard had instilled in the company's DNA. Their enthusiasm and dedication to the brand were palpable, and customers took notice. They weren't just coming for the coffee. They were coming for the experience, the sense of warmth, and the genuine hospitality they received. By treating employees with dignity, Howard created a ripple effect that elevated every aspect of the Starbucks brand. But while Howard was building a community within the company, he was also revolutionizing an entire industry. Under his leadership, Starbucks was not only expanding rapidly, but it was also elevating the entire coffee culture in America. In the 1990s, when the concept of specialty coffee was still relatively new, Starbucks helped to popularize the idea of high-quality, espresso-based drinks. Lattes, cappuccinos, and mochas became mainstream, and Starbucks was at the forefront of this cultural shift. Howard had successfully taken the humble coffee bean and transformed it into a symbol of sophistication and social connection. As Starbucks continued to grow, Howard faced numerous challenges, many of which came from the very success he had cultivated. The company's rapid expansion threatened to dilute the very culture and community that had made Starbucks so special. In order to maintain the integrity of the brand, Howard made the bold decision to pause the company's expansion in the early 2000s. While many business leaders would have been reluctant to slow down growth, Howard knew that the essence of Starbucks, its quality, its culture, its people, needed to be protected. It was a risky move, but it paid off. Starbucks redefined what it meant to be a global brand, and this global footprint was not simply about selling coffee in different corners of the world. It was about taking a local approach to each market. Starbucks took the time to understand the unique cultural nuances of each region it entered, adapting its products and store designs to fit the local atmosphere. Whether it was offering matcha lattes in Japan or croissants in France, Starbucks became a part of the global community by respecting the diversity of its customers. One of Howard's most significant leadership lessons was his belief in the power of storytelling. Starbucks wasn't just a company selling coffee. It was a brand with a narrative. It was a story of transformation, of rising from humble beginnings to global dominance, and of creating a space for people to connect over something as simple as a cup of coffee. Howard's ability to craft and communicate that story was one of the key factors that allowed Starbucks to maintain its cultural relevance despite its growth. As Starbucks grew into the powerhouse it is today, Howard Schultz continued to lead by example. He was not a typical CEO who simply directed from the top. He was hands-on, involved in every aspect of the company, from the quality of the coffee to the tone of the brand. His leadership style was based on empathy, emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of people. He frequently visited Starbucks stores, interacted with employees, and listened to the concerns and ideas of everyone, regardless of their position within the company. This open-door policy created a sense of shared ownership among the entire Starbucks community, and it fueled the company's growth in ways that numbers and profits alone could not explain. But Howard's leadership wasn't just about empowering employees. It was also about inspiring others to dream big. He often spoke about the importance of believing in one's vision, no matter how impossible it might seem. "The most important thing I did," he would later reflect, "was to believe in my own dreams, and not just my dreams, but the dreams of others." This mindset of collective dreaming, of supporting each other's visions and working toward a common goal, became one of the foundational principles of Starbucks culture. As Howard's story continued to unfold, it became clear that his legacy would not only be defined by the success of Starbucks, but also by his contributions to the broader business world. He became an advocate for social responsibility and sustainability, pushing Starbucks to become a leader in ethical sourcing, environmental stewardship, and community engagement. Under his leadership, Starbucks made significant strides in supporting farmers, reducing its environmental footprint, and creating a more inclusive and diverse workforce. When Howard stepped down as CEO in 2000, he left behind a company that was already a global phenomenon. But even after his departure, his influence remained. He returned as CEO in 2008 during a difficult time for the company, steering it through the global financial crisis and revitalizing the brand once again. Through all of his successes and challenges, Howard remained steadfast in his belief that leadership was not about power or titles. It was about responsibility and the impact one could have on others. Today, Starbucks continues to thrive, and Howard's legacy is not just written in the success of the company, but in the lives of the millions of people who have been touched by his leadership. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of staying true to one's values, and the belief that with enough vision, hard work, and dedication, anything is possible. Howard Schultz didn't just build a coffee company. He built a movement, and his story serves as an inspiration to anyone who dares to dream big, work hard, and believe in the power of change. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, we all have the ability to rise above and create something greater than ourselves. A legacy beyond business, the heart of Howard Schultz's impact. Howard Schultz's journey from a boy growing up in poverty to the CEO of a global empire is remarkable. However, the true power of his story is not found merely in the immense financial success he achieved or the expansion of Starbucks across the globe. Howard's legacy stretches far beyond the walls of his company. It's in the way he reshaped the role of a leader, the way he redefined the purpose of a business, and the lasting impact he left on countless individuals and communities. What makes his story even more inspiring is the fact that he never lost sight of the deeper meaning behind success. Howard often spoke about the importance of not just building a business, but creating a purpose. From the moment he took the helm of Starbucks, he instilled in the company the belief that it was not only about selling coffee. It was about fostering an environment where people felt seen, heard, and valued. This vision transcended the traditional definition of corporate responsibility. For Howard, the work of a business wasn't just about the products it sold or the profits it made. It was about how it touched lives and influenced the community. One of the most powerful aspects of Howard's leadership was his deep belief in the human element of business. He recognized that a company could not thrive solely based on the strength of its brand or the quality of its product. It had to be rooted in values that treated employees not as mere workers, but as partners. He often referred to Starbucks employees as partners because he saw their role as integral to the company's success. By empowering his team and providing them with meaningful benefits, such as health care for part-time workers, Schultz demonstrated that true leadership involves investing in people. When the employees felt cared for and respected, they, in turn, extended that same sense of care to customers. But Schultz's influence wasn't confined to the company alone. His vision of a responsible, socially conscious business quickly began to extend to other areas of life. One of the driving forces behind his leadership was his commitment to sustainability. From the beginning, he understood that being a business leader meant taking responsibility for the world around you. Under his guidance, Starbucks led the way in creating an ethical supply chain. The company became a pioneer in sourcing coffee beans responsibly, working with farmers to ensure fair wages and sustainable farming practices. Starbucks wasn't just about serving coffee. It was about creating a positive impact at every step of the process. Schultz's commitment to sustainability extended beyond the company's products. He was one of the first to push for greener operations, encouraging Starbucks to reduce waste, use recyclable materials, and minimize its environmental footprint. It wasn't just about looking good in the eyes of the public. It was about making an actual difference in the world. Howard believed that companies could do well while doing good. He was a firm believer in the idea that success should never come at the expense of the planet or the people who live on it. Despite all the accolades and recognition, Schultz was never one to rest on his laurels. His role as a leader extended far beyond just growing a business. Howard became a voice for social change and activism, pushing for initiatives that helped underserved communities and advocating for social issues he felt passionately about. His commitment to equality and inclusion was reflected in Starbucks' policy of hiring veterans, refugees, and individuals from marginalized backgrounds. Schultz believed that businesses should be a force for social good, creating an environment where opportunity and fairness weren't just ideals but actions that were lived out daily. In many ways, Howard Schultz's personal journey mirrored the values he instilled at Starbucks. His rise from humble beginnings gave him a deep empathy for people who were struggling, for those who had no voice in the traditional systems of power. He never forgot where he came from, and this allowed him to lead with compassion and an unyielding commitment to lifting others. Whether it was through providing health care for employees or supporting small-scale coffee farmers, Schultz always approached business as a way to uplift people, to give them more than just a paycheck, but a sense of dignity. Another example of Schultz's commitment to social change was his advocacy for the American dream. As he continued to expand Starbucks, Howard became increasingly outspoken about the state of social and economic inequality in the United States. He argued that corporations and government entities should do more to support the American worker and help bridge the widening gap between the wealthy and the working class. His belief that businesses should play an active role in addressing inequality resonated with millions, inspiring many to rethink the traditional role of companies in society. But Howard's journey wasn't all about giving back or making the world a better place through his company. It was also deeply personal. As Schultz became a public figure, his life became a testament to the power of perseverance and belief in one's vision. He had achieved the kind of success that many people only dream of, but his motivations never wavered. He was driven not by the desire for fame or fortune, but by a deep sense of purpose. Howard often reflects on the idea that he wasn't just building a business. He was building a legacy. He wanted his story to be more than just a tale of success in the traditional sense. His legacy was about the way he had challenged the status quo, the way he had redefined the idea of what a business could be, and the impact he had on people's lives. It wasn't about the billions of dollars in revenue or the tens of thousands of stores around the world. It was about creating a place where people felt they belonged, where they could connect, share, and enjoy life's simple pleasures. It was about the values of community, inclusivity, and equality. In his memoir, Howard often reflects on the incredible responsibility of leadership, on the challenges of building a company that reflects the very best of human nature. He never shied away from the tough decisions, the moments when he had to choose between short-term profits and long-term vision. His story is filled with moments of struggle, with moments when it seemed like Starbucks might falter. Yet through every challenge, Howard's belief in his mission never wavered. He never stopped asking, "How can we do more? How can we do better?" In many ways, Howard Schultz's legacy has inspired a generation of leaders who are looking to make a positive impact. Whether they are running businesses, leading communities, or shaping the future in any other capacity, Schultz's story has shown them that success is not about profits alone. It's about making a difference. It's about treating people with dignity and respect. It's about finding a higher purpose in everything you do. As Howard Schultz's career enters its later stages, his focus has shifted more toward the broader impact he can have in the world. He has become an advocate for responsible capitalism, working to ensure that future generations of business leaders are committed to creating positive social change. His journey, from selling his blood to survive to becoming one of the most influential business leaders in the world, is more than just a tale of personal success. It's a blueprint for anyone who dares to dream, a reminder that our greatest challenges often hold the seeds of our greatest opportunities. For those who may feel lost in the chaos of life's struggles, Howard's story is a beacon of hope. It shows that no matter where you come from or how difficult the journey may seem, you have the power to create your own path. Howard Schultz's life is proof that leadership, innovation, and compassion can go hand in hand, and that success is not measured only by the wealth we accumulate, but by the lives we touch along the way. A vision for the future, leading with purpose and resilience. As Howard Schultz's journey continued to unfold, it became clear that his vision was not bound by the success of Starbucks alone. His approach to leadership, social impact, and innovation transcended the business world and set a new standard for what it meant to lead with purpose. As Starbucks grew into an internationally recognized brand, Schultz began to understand that his story was no longer just his own. It was part of a larger narrative that was being written by all the people who worked for him, bought from him, and were touched by the values Starbucks embodied. Even as Schultz expanded Starbucks into a global powerhouse, he never lost sight of the key principles that had guided him from the very beginning: resilience, integrity, and a steadfast commitment to improving the lives of others. His leadership was characterized not just by what he accomplished, but by how he carried himself, how he led others, and the ethical standards he set for his company. He wasn't a typical CEO, driven solely by numbers or stock prices. Instead, his decisions were rooted in a profound sense of responsibility to his employees, his customers, and to society as a whole. Through his leadership, Schultz reshaped how we think about corporate responsibility. He understood that businesses, especially those with a global reach like Starbucks, had an incredible opportunity to influence the world for the better. It wasn't just about selling coffee. It was about using the platform that Starbucks had built to drive positive change. From promoting diversity and inclusion in the workplace to advocating for sustainable practices, Schultz used his company's vast influence to champion causes that went far beyond coffee culture. Perhaps one of the most significant aspects of Schultz's legacy is his commitment to elevating the role of businesses as agents of social good. He fundamentally believed that corporations could, and should, be forces for positive change. Under his leadership, Starbucks became a leader in ethical sourcing, providing fair wages to coffee farmers and helping them improve their livelihoods. Starbucks was one of the first companies to commit to ethically sourcing its coffee beans through the Coffee and Farmer Equity (CAFE) practices, a set of guidelines that ensured sustainable farming and provided financial support to the farmers in Starbucks' supply chain. For Howard, it wasn't just about making a profit, it was about creating a ripple effect of goodwill that extended all the way down the supply chain, benefiting farmers and their communities in countries around the world. But Schultz's commitment to ethical business practices didn't stop at sourcing. He was a strong advocate for environmental sustainability, pushing Starbucks to take bold steps to reduce its carbon footprint, minimize waste, and invest in renewable energy. The company's commitment to reducing plastic waste and expanding its use of recycled materials became a hallmark of its operations, reflecting Howard's belief that businesses had a duty to protect the planet. Starbucks was one of the first major companies to introduce a comprehensive recycling program in its stores and to develop a reusable cup program aimed at reducing waste. Schultz's foresight in these areas laid the groundwork for a future where corporate responsibility and sustainability were no longer optional. They were essential. As the company grew, Schultz's leadership was tested time and again, especially during times of crisis. The global financial crisis of 2008 was one such moment. Faced with economic downturns, declining sales, and pressure from investors to streamline operations, Schultz made a bold decision. Rather than cutting back on the company's core values, its commitment to quality, its ethical sourcing, and its focus on employee welfare, Schultz doubled down on Starbucks' mission. He made the decision to return to the role of CEO and led the company through one of its most difficult periods. In a move that many business leaders might not have had the courage to make, Schultz closed hundreds of underperforming stores and refocused the company on its core principles. Rather than sacrificing the company's values to improve short-term profits, he made the decision to invest even more heavily in those values. This wasn't just a business strategy. It was a manifestation of Howard's belief in the power of resilience. In times of adversity, rather than retreating, he chose to lead with purpose. He believed that Starbucks' commitment to its mission was precisely what would help the company not only survive, but thrive in the face of challenges. Schultz had always been a visionary, but during this period, he became a symbol of unwavering leadership. His decision to place people and values above short-term profits set him apart from many other corporate leaders, and it was that very decision that ultimately helped Starbucks rebound from the financial crisis. Even as Starbucks continued to grow into one of the most recognized and valuable brands in the world, Schultz remained deeply committed to creating a company that wasn't just about selling products. His idea of success was always more holistic. It was about creating a brand that people trusted and believed in. It was about offering more than just a service. It was about offering an experience. And it was about creating a sense of community where people felt that they were part of something larger, something meaningful. Howard's influence wasn't just confined to the walls of Starbucks. It extended to the wider world of business, politics, and social activism. He often used his platform to speak out on issues such as healthcare reform, income inequality, and the need for corporate responsibility. He became an advocate for the American dream, not just for the wealthy, but for the working class, the very people who had shaped his own life and success. Howard regularly called on other business leaders to do more for their employees, particularly those at the lower end of the pay scale, and to focus on building inclusive workplaces where all people had the opportunity to thrive. He believed that companies should not only create wealth, but also contribute to the social fabric of their communities. Despite his tremendous success, Howard never allowed himself to become complacent. He was constantly looking for ways to innovate and improve. In many ways, this is what made him such a remarkable leader. He was never satisfied with just being successful. He always wanted to be better. His drive to continuously evolve and expand Starbucks' impact on society is what kept the company at the forefront of the industry, even as it faced increasing competition. Whether it was introducing new products, exploring new technologies like mobile payments, or experimenting with new store formats, Howard's relentless pursuit of innovation ensured that Starbucks would remain relevant in an ever-changing world. As Schultz neared the end of his tenure at Starbucks, he began to turn his attention more toward the future. His vision wasn't just about what Starbucks could become. It was about what the world could become when businesses embraced social responsibility and leadership with purpose. Howard didn't just want to leave a lasting impact on Starbucks. He wanted to leave a legacy that would inspire future generations of leaders. His story was one of hope, resilience, and the belief that anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, could achieve greatness if they remained true to their values and worked tirelessly toward their dreams. Looking back, Howard's impact is undeniable. Starbucks has become more than just a coffee shop. It has become a symbol of what happens when a business leads with purpose and stays true to its mission. His journey is proof that success is not just about what you achieve, but about how you achieve it. It's about the people you uplift along the way, the values you instill, and the positive change you create. Howard Schultz didn't just build a company. He built a movement that showed the world that businesses can be a force for good and that leadership with purpose can change the world. Howard's story will continue to inspire future generations of entrepreneurs, leaders, and change-makers, reminding them that no matter where they come from, no matter how difficult the journey may seem, success is within reach if they stay true to their dreams and lead with integrity, compassion, and purpose. The lasting lesson of Howard Schultz's journey. Howard Schultz's journey from a childhood defined by poverty to becoming the architect of one of the world's most influential companies is a testament to the power of dreams, perseverance, and leadership rooted in purpose. His story is not just about building a successful business. It's about transforming an industry, uplifting communities, and creating a legacy that will inspire generations to come. Through every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt, Howard never stopped believing in the power of his vision. He understood that true success is not just measured in profits or market share, but in the difference you make in the lives of others. His unwavering commitment to treating people with dignity, his focus on creating an environment where employees felt valued, and his dedication to making the world a better place through ethical business practices have set a new standard for leadership. But perhaps the most powerful lesson from Howard's story is the importance of resilience. Life is full of hardships, moments of rejection, and periods of struggle. But as Howard's experience shows, these are not the obstacles that define us. They are the stepping stones to our greatness. The key to success is not avoiding failure, but learning from it, embracing it, and using it to fuel our forward motion. Howard Schultz's story also teaches us that success is not a solo pursuit. It is the result of collaboration, empathy, and a willingness to build something bigger than yourself. Whether it was empowering his employees, creating a global community of coffee lovers, or advocating for social and environmental change, Schultz understood that leadership is not about personal gain. It is about the collective impact you have on the world around you. As we reflect on his journey, we are reminded that no matter where we start or how difficult the path may seem, we all have the power to dream big, work hard, and create positive change. Howard's rise from humble beginnings is proof that anything is possible when you hold onto your vision and refuse to give up, no matter the obstacles in your way. The true measure of success is not in what you accumulate, but in what you give. It's not in the profits you make, but in the lives you touch and the values you instill. Howard Schultz's legacy will continue to inspire us all to lead with purpose, to dream beyond the limits of our circumstances, and to build a world where success is defined not just by what we achieve, but by how we help others achieve their own dreams. As we move forward in our own lives, let us carry with us the lesson of Howard Schultz's journey, that greatness comes not from seeking fame or fortune, but from staying true to our values, lifting others along the way, and believing in the impossible. By doing so, we can all leave our own lasting impact on the world, just as Howard Schultz has done. This concludes the story. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, please consider liking the video and sharing it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more captivating stories. Have a great day.